One. Uno. Now I can actually move this out of the way. I don't have seen it way. There we go. I'll look back there every now and again. Let me pour my drink and get this out of the way. Because what did Kyle Phillips tell me?
I don't know who Kyle Phillips is, but I can tell you
that
you're a
NFL player. He's telling me if I.
Oh yeah. Don't show the
If they're
logo.
not paying
You ain't get paid for it.
That's right.
Smart man.
Yeah. Hey,
That's right.
What drink do you want?
Oh, so I had to go and say horrible things for that. Day. I'm good, brother.
What the fuck are you?
A fuck are you?
Doc, where's your drink?
It's over there. It's
If you're getting Doc a drink, Jesus.
My wife says that my package is secured.
Wine?
Water or wine? Just give me the water. I'll turn it to wine. I can whine all day long. Wine.
I'll take some of that
I got your orange drink coming.
blackberry.
Sugar, water.
Oh, what is that?
Orange.
That old song, Strawberry Wine, back from the 80s or 90s.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's country.
I wasn't into music back then. Well, no, that's not true. In the 90s, I was. What's that?
Into drugs.
You were into drugs?
I was into drugs. That's right. I was 7-year-old hitting that fucking heroin needle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's very orange.
That's yes, sir.
Oh, man. That looks like what I spit out after the
Yes,
dentist.
sir. Yep.
Sun.
You some bitch.
I pulled that away because Doc's been there before.
Yeah.
Thank you, kind sir. Oh,
That's exactly the right amount.
Oh, we got that shit on audio. That's
God, I'm stupid. Now you got to put the microphone up to it. Damn it, Byron. I just don't want to spill this shit all over the.
Now I got fucking ginger ale all over my nose. Is that what,
Come here, I'll lick it off for you, big boy.
Days?
Let me lick that shit.
All right, we've already done the clacker, and we're just now getting ready. Got a fucking bunch of morons.
Do we need to re-clack it?
No. It's clacking is clacking.
So I got the clack one time. Yeah, this girl gave me the clack real bad.
What'd they give you?
What did
the doctor give
some
you?
Modat.
Some Modas.
Some Modat. That's right. That was in Turkey.
Doctor said you done this and you getting Modat.
That's right.
So, all right. So this is how we start the Greybeard chat sessions. Chat sesh. We just happen to have Emery here this weekend.
You know what's funny about this, Byron?
Mm-hmm.
Is Greybeard was started by you, Rawson, and myself.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been on a Greybeard thing yet. Think about it. This is my first time. I guess I owe you a beer for that.
Weren't you on something with me and Doc before?
Yeah.
What was that?
That wasn't for Greybeard. That was for my thing.
We did two
I think
things.
Doc is lying.
Did we do two
I
things?
think, I think Emery's lying.
We didn't do butt stuff, did we?
I don't recall that, but we did earlier today.
We did
but, I mean,
Modat.
did I say that out loud?
We did Modat.
I mean, it was a frog, a cat. That's what it was. What is wrong with us?
Oh my god.
So, yes, another.
I guess we're doing the knife thing.
Yeah, this is our.
Everybody gets
So we
their
don't have
knives out.
fidgets and stuff to distract people. We just put knives on the table. And,
We happens.
yes, people play with these right here.
You know what? Since we're just fucking bullshitting, I would actually like
Doc,
to.
what did I tell you? What did I tell you about hitting the microphone?
And this is why we can't have children around. I actually do want to say something about this knife. Sensuous. Y'all see this thing?
It's a
It's
monster.
kind of ridiculous. So this is called motherfucker. What they call Alan in the book? I'll remember the name in a second. But the Dalton. This is called the Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
That's some enunciate. The Dalton.
Dalton.
So Dalton, this is made. This was designed by Chris Weatherman, our good friend, Angry American, and our good friend Donnie Dunn.
Shout out to Chris Weatherman. You're on here. So
Yeah.
one of these cameras.
We love you, poopy schnookins. So they're big into survival stuff, right? That's their thing. And this was inspired. And I think our good friend Alan Kay helped out. Now, Alan Kay, who I don't know if you guys met yet, but Alan's another really good friend. He's
You've mentioned him to me a couple of times.
incredible guy. I fucking love Alan. Alan in Chris's books in the home series is the character Dalton that this knife is named after. Alan's tremendously, like, he's the survival guy, you know, and I mean, truly the survival guy. He's incredible. You put him out with, like, you know, out in the Siberian tundra with, like, you know, a toothpick and some hemp fiber, and he will fucking go hunt a mammoth, you know? So he's Dalton in the books. And Alan in real life, Alan's thing is kukris. He fucking loves kukris. He's coming out with his own stuff. I won't ruin it for him here. But anyway, so this is the Dalton. And the idea with this is it's like their ultimate survival knife. I just got this in the mail this week, so I've not played with it yet. Other than being like you look at the shape and you go, what the fuck is this? It's some kukri. What was that? There's a
That's
movie.
what I thought immediately.
There's a movie with Tommy Lee Jones a while, you know, like back in the 90s, early 2000s, where they had the tracker knife. I don't know if you remember that. And that had these kind of sharp, weird angle changes. And so it's kind of a combination between the two. But this, they didn't do this to look different. They did this because every part of this knife has a purpose. It's pretty cool. So, like, it's a really good draw knife and all these other things. So that's why I brought it this week. I figured we'd play around with it a little bit and just, here.
Careful, Doc.
I figured we'd show it off to people and stuff. And
It's got some great chopping weight. Like it's
it's a chopper for sure.
It is.
And that's actually, as opposed to a kukri, that's why they put a flat section here too, is it's actually depending on the application, it's better to chop with when you get a flat part of the edge there, you're getting more contact with what it is you're chopping. And if it's curved, you're getting much shorter contact or surface area in contact.
And chop is deep.
Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, I saw this.
It's a cool knife.
And, I thought this might be a beer bottle opener. Every good knife has one.
I bet it would work as one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excuse me, let me just get my bottle opener.
This is it feels like a good breaching tool too. It's freaking massive. It's got a lot of mass to it.
That's for breaching craniums. But anyway, since we were fucking around, I figured I'd kind of show this off because they just sent it to me this week, so I'm kind of excited about it.
And this is I like the way they did this.
The sheath,
I like the sheath. I like the bungee cord setup. I'm not sure where that came from, but man, like I can think of so many things I'd love to have that for.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, really a cool design. I'm not giving it a rating yet. You know what I mean? Because I haven't really gone out and used it. And I know that, like, I've talked to some people about it and they're like, man, when you get this knife, you have to sharpen it. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to sharpen a new knife. They know what they're doing. This is what you call a tactical, what I call a tactical edge. And what that means is if you get this thing, you know, you could get this thing razor sharp, but then it would dull out super
It's going to
quick.
get dull real quick.
This is a hacker survival knife. It's not a knife that you're supposed to shave with. And I've had that happen with some of my knives that I made in the past and sold where people were like, yeah, but it's, you know, your knife's junk because it's not sharp. It's like, yeah, but what's the purpose of the knife? Think about it, right? If you're giving a soldier, for example, a knife that is razor sharp, within 12 hours, he's just going to cut paper and mess with things and dull it out already. Because, you know, let's face it, right? Joe doesn't know how to properly
It doesn't take
use a
long
knife.
for it to get like that.
Exactly. And so this is this sharpness based on edge geometry, height of, you know, that's the height of your primary bevels, angle of your secondary bevel, thickness of your raw material, that kind of stuff. It's designed to be this way.
Unlike the breed fighter, you know, from Kim Breed.
Kim Breed's awesome.
And his knives are sharp. And they stay that way pretty good because it's designed for that.
Right.
This is my favorite knife. Don't you have one of these?
Oh yeah. By the way, I have one of these Kim Breeze, and this is one of the best knives I've ever had in my hands. Best knife.
It fits good in your hand.
I'm going to disagree.
You can disagree.
Until now, because I've never held it. Yeah, so this is a Fairbairn Sykes like design. I'm not a huge use-wise. I'm not huge on double-edged knives and daggers, but that's the way I have gotten accustomed to fighting with a knife. Right? There's a lot of cool applications for double-edged knives, and so this is essentially a Fairbairn Sykes with no guard,
Correct.
which is cool. So it's always been a very popular design, and it's a stabby little bastard, right? And that's I'm not very stabby. I'm more slicey.
Slicey.
But but that's getting into like potato.
And the one we were
Kim Breed's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came in here once, and I interviewed him. Great. He brought this Tanto bladed one right here. Tanto.
Oh, American style Tonto. Let me see that.
He brought that in for us to show in here, and I take him to gun shows with me when I'm showing off guns.
Look at this. He did a hollow grind on it. That's so your primary bevel here, the actual grind. This is hollow, meaning the surface that was up against this would have been a circle, right? A wheel as opposed to a flat platen. So like, I guess, I don't know if we should be geeking out on all this stuff, but I guess we can.
What are we
edit
here
it out.
for?
So here, right? Forget the fact that it's curved. It's flat. The surface here is flat, where
Right.
the surface here is hollow. And
Yeah.
one thing, this knife is black. It's either acid etched or coated with something. When it's just polished and the knife is still silver, my favorite thing about a hollow grind is how it reflects light, and you get just this really beautiful light play off of the blade. But it does have practical purposes, right? So, and that's, I think most people probably, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, but most people, when they buy a knife, they buy it off of looks because they don't really know what they're buying. Just like a gun, right? My buddy told me I need a Glock, 78. But what you get in a hollow grind is you can get a much thicker piece of steel, much thinner at the cutting edge, right? If you use the correct size wheel to grind it on. And so you can take a much thicker piece of steel and make it a lot sharper. The flip side to that is if you try to like split something with it, right? Or if you're cutting into something deep, right? What happens is because it's a circle coming up like that, it widens out a lot more quickly. And so it's harder to get a deeper cut as opposed to a flat grind, right?
Okay.
Where it's going to actually cut in more smoothly, right? Give it less resistance because it's a flat surface as opposed to a surface that curves out at a steep angle. So just kind of some of those fun nerdy things that I nerd out on. Because those of you guys who don't know, before I started training here in the States, that's what I did for a living was I made knives, made custom knives. So that's why
you're considerably more educated at this than Doc or I.
Educated.
But yes, I take his knives to when I'm, doing gun shows and shit like that. I will take his. I mean, they're really nice pieces of art, and show them off.
Yep.
One place you can get his is I think it's Kim Breed 1911. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Breed 1911.
Unless we start.
Something like that. On Instagram. He doesn't have a website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a
Yeah,
website.
for those of you guys who don't know who Kim Breed is, he was a fifth group guy.
Yes.
So he's kind of part of that whole family thing. And he's kind of more Randy's generation?
Yes.
So older guy, and he's been doing this for a while. And if you look at this, I could geek out on this knife all day long and tell you the stuff that I enjoy about it, because actually this is non-standard, right? This is not how people grind a Tonto. And I'm not saying that as a negative thing. On the contrary, I can see some stuff about the manufacturing here that I really want to be like, Kim, I got to know how you did this.
Right. Well, first of all, Kim lives in the subdivision, and he has a backyard that's covered by a tarp, and that's where his furnace and everything is, right?
Nice.
And then he has a storage building. The size of where I have all the drones sitting, that storage building there? He's got a storage building out there where he does all his grinding and all his leather is stored and all that kind of stuff. So it's a tiny operation. And he is probably, he is never ahead, I guess, on knives. You don't see him. He doesn't have a room to stock knives, and it's best people order them, he'll make them.
Yep.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
That's how I worked because look, the majority of us have the same sickness. You're kind of in a different spot with that. And actually you kind of are too, Byron, but like Carl and me and Sue, right? Like we're not good. We don't have that brain that does really good business planning, right?
No, we suck at it.
And so, but we're really good at like that thing that we're passionate at, which is the doing, whether it's the shooting, the making knives, whatever the actual doing is that we are into. And so like when I was making knives, I was focused on making knives, and I never didn't sell a knife. Matter of fact, there were very few knives I ever made that weren't sold before they were even made. My problem was being able to make enough, because when you make them by hand, and that people are like, a knife like this, right? I probably would have charged. I'm just guessing. I don't know exactly the process he used and the work he put into it. I would probably charge at least $550 for something like this. And people look at it and they go, well, I can buy a Benchmade for half that. Yeah, cool. But that was produced by machines, right? That's CNC machines. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But when you're buying this, you're buying art. You're buying somebody's soul, right? Yes. This is literally a piece of his soul in this knife. And it cost him many hours to make this, and I think some people don't understand that are into knives. Well, the Benchmade is cheaper. Yeah. Machine made a robot.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, but you understand what you're buying, right? Yeah.
So we use them as little widgets for guests to play with. And I seem to be the only one that plays with them. Me, or when I had Kim Breed in here, he played with them.
I can't. If there's
everybody else just kind of lets them sit there, and I don't want to fuck with that.
Yeah, you don't know what to do with the knife. Yeah, if there's a knife around, I got to be playing with it.
But
good stuff.
To the business thing we were talking about, I've done quite a bit in the the special operations world, and I would rather be back in Solder City with a Yeet cannon. What those pistols called? Those piece of crap guns.
G-Lock?
No. Hey, whoa. Whoa.
You said pistol. You said piece of shit.
I would rather be in Solder City with a Glock, but I would rather be in Solder City with a piece of crap gun than to do marketing.
I did not see that coming.
I didn't know where 100%
agreement. 100% agreement.
So hard.
Yeah.
I'd rather be naked with a goat in Solder City.
Where's this going?
Than to do marketing.
Where's this going?
It is so complicated.
And yet here we are.
Now, I guess if I owned a widget, if I was a company that sold these or a company that sold glasses, I could probably market them. But in what I chose to do after retirement, marketing is rough. Building guns and trying to market that shit. I've said it to a couple of people, don't take it wrong. You would sooner see child porn on Instagram as a gun advertisement.
Yeah. I don't follow.
It's easier to do that. Instagram will not unless you are literally subscribed to the page, you will not see that content.
Getting blocked.
Not only subscribe to the page, because we've noticed in Tactical Rifleman, hell, I have been unsubscribed from our own channel 6 times.
Yeah.
Right. And they don't, those videos, our videos, half of the time, they don't even pop up in my thing. Yeah. Right. I have to go and look for them. We are not allowed to do paid advertisement on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, any of that shit. It's really.
But the shit you see on there that pops up is what bothers me. They allow that shit.
Exactly.
But they don't allow a Second Amendment right. Something that portrays your Second Amendment right. You know,
something that's entirely legal versus something that should never be.
Both legally and morally, right? I mean, we are teaching people safety. safe handling, safe, ethical decision making, right? In the shooting world and all that. Never have we said like, oh, this is so you can go kill, blah, 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 right? But then I open Instagram. I only use Instagram to follow, like to see what's going on with our people and that kind of thing. I hit that search button. All I get, I'm going to show you right now. The only thing I get on occasion, maybe a skydiving thing. All I get is naked, like young girls.
Stupid shit. Yeah.
It's not stupid. It should be criminal shit.
Yes. I don't know why the fuck but the fucking.
Watch, I'm going to hit the search. Look at this.
Jesus.
Look at this. Grotesque. That's all it shows me. And it's pushing it. Look at this. What the hell am I even looking at? It's a child. This is disgusting.
Yeah. So I just don't get it. I can't advertise my company that's a responsible gun builder, gun manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
But I see that shit daily.
So do you think it would be safe in this setting, in this very, very private setting, to say that YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all those are anti-veteran?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think
anti-constitution.
Facebook too.
I thought I mentioned it. Yeah, all those things.
Maybe did.
Right? I mean, if somebody in this country is against vets, against our freedoms, actually turns out that it's social media that's supposed to be promoting free speech, right? Free legal speech.
You think they would be all over that? Really?
Yeah, but politics.
But politics.
Why are we getting into this? Let's talk about happy stuff. Let's talk about guns.
Well,
speaking of,
all right. So, folks may know that I also own Black Armor Guns, and Doc has recently been given the position of the chief marketing officer, and his pay went up in January to 6% over what he was making.
Yep.
Which, of course, 6% of zero is.
Carry the sevens.
Do you have a
Zero.
calculator? I need a calculator.
But Doc knows the guys at, what's it called? BC? No.
Yeah, the guys that run Six Max.
Six Max. What's the name of the company? BNC?
They have a website that's kind of, let me pull that up here.
See, you should have had to pull up some fucking marketing officer.
Never prepared.
Never.
So they actually own the Six Max, everything, right? The ammo, the round itself. BC Precision Ballistics. Yeah, right there. And what who was it? Sons of Liberty were making the gun exclusively, I believe.
They had a contract at one time with the
and we're talking about
owners.
Six Max AR platform.
Yeah, the guys that developed the Six Max came up with it and signed a contract with Sons of Liberty so that they had the rights to make the gun. I think they were the only ones for maybe a year. I'm not really sure what the contract was, but now that's open and we're making Six Max guns.
So we made one 4 months ago, 3 months ago, something like that.
It's like,
And then I made it in black because we wanted to make sure that, we didn't R&D that gun. So we had already R&D'd AR platforms, but now we were adding a different barrel to it, to make it Six Max.
It's a big complicating factor, really.
It is. About it. And so I didn't Cerakote it or anything. So after we shot it and we were shooting 1,000 yards with it, 30-mile-an-hour winds, but we were making it happen.
That was insane.
It's not this big.
Oh, that was insane.
And snow.
And it was snowing on us. It was so fucking cold.
It was.
But we took it out and shot it. And the Six Max is in competition with the Six Arc.
All right, hold on. Can I pause you?
Yeah.
Let's back up a second because every year there's some crazy new caliber.
Every
right?
6
the
months.
8.6 blackout and the blah, blah, blah. And so I'm not as familiar with all these newer long range things. And so You know, give me a little rundown of what the caliber actually
that's what I was
is.
getting right to.
Okay.
So it's in competition with the 6 ARC, which after Chris Campbell and I and Doc here looked at the ballistics, let's just say 5.56 to 308, 308 being your long range. It was kind of like the middle between those.
The 6 ARC was
6 ARC and 6 Max. They're kind of like in between.
in between
those.
in what sense?
As far as energy on target at longer ranges. you
Okay.
know.
But if you're shooting 1,000, I mean, 308 is considered a 1,000-meter round, but it's really not.
It's really more like an 800.
It's 700-800 is kind of your
exactly.
comfortable range there.
But this one is sitting at about, I would say, 6 point of aim, point of impact, that kind of thing, having energy on target.
Okay.
6. Where 223 is more like, or 5.56 is more like 300.
Four,
under around in there. And I have shot 308 out to 1,500 before, but of course you could, bink,
Right,
it's
right.
just doing that. But the 6 ARC is kind of like, or 6 Max rather, sorry, is kind of like in between those two. I like the round. It's a little bit bigger bullet, diameter wise, than your normal 223.
6 millimeter as opposed to 5.56.
What I love about it is that I didn't have to change anything except the barrel on the gun itself. The bolt itself uses the same 5.56 bolt.
So how do you think it compares to something like a 6.5 Grendel? Because that's the same concept.
Yes, it's about the same. The thing is where it competes with 6 ARC. The 6 ARC, the bolt, the lug wall, it has to be cut. So it's really thin, right? Which, okay, I got it. But if you're wanting to use a gun for defense, long range stuff, defense, that's the weakest point of the gun. Now, the bolt is already a weak point of the gun. And then when you take and you cut that wall in half, the diameter of that thing.
What we're talking about is the front of the actual bolt, right? And it's got the lugs coming off on the perimeter.
Actually take it out.
Right? You have to grind out or cut out. Oh, yeah, there we go. So you have to cut out the inside of it where the ass of the cartridge, the rim sits, and that wall becomes thinner and thinner. And that's a weak point.
Yeah. And when you have a cartridge that's got more pressures than a normal 223 and all that, it matters. And, apparently the SEALs have had some issues with those breaking all the time.
Really?
Yeah. All the time.
On the 6 ARC.
Correct.
Yep.
So,
in addition, it's because of the shape of the cartridge, and it's compared to the ARC, it's easier to run that full auto with no problems. For some reason,
Because it's a flat wall or a straight wall. I'm sorry.
Versus the 6 ARC, which has that fat cartridge. I guess they have. I don't even know that they have the capacity to run full auto, do they?
well, I'm sure if the SEALs got
Now, does that make your magazines straighter?
Here you go. So the 6 ARC, the magazine is like that, like
A banana, like
worse than
AK.
223. It
Okay.
worse than
Worse than an AK?
worse than AK, worse than an AK, right?
Uh-huh.
But a 6 Max is almost straight up and down, which, you're like, wow, that's different. Yeah, it is, but you can actually get them in and out of your kit faster than you can. Even a 223 is curved.
Yeah.
And you can, the pockets you use have to be as wide as the entire magazine, and it curved like this.
Right.
But when it's like this, those things, you can actually probably get another slit for a magazine in there.
Okay.
For another pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they are straighter. So Doc did have this gun. Let me get this gun. I'll put it up here for you to see right quick, like, if you don't mind. Hold on. Let me take it off.
Now, is the mag well the same? Could you use the same lower?
Mag well is the same.
So you can use the mag well is the same. Okay. And you can use essentially the exact same lower.
Yeah. That is a
It's-
5.56 magazine.
That's a 5.56 magazine that fits in there. Now, a 5.56 magazine won't work with it because
The inner.
they're curved, but the wall is got a slightly longer COL.
Right. It's got a 0.05 difference because I just looked
Correct. Than 223. So Geisley makes a magazine for it.
Yeah.
We saw it,
And
30 round,
Duramax.
32 round, whatever the heck it was. It was
Yeah.
almost straight. And
Duramax.
Duramag makes some that are 20 rounders.
And they're working on their 30 plus.
And they work fine. Now that is, I'm going to be honest, that is another issue. When you buy this, you have to buy the magazines, to go with it, that kind of thing.
Not to speak of the fact that the ammo right now is probably not only hard to get, but incredibly expensive, I'm guessing.
You said something about they had a company that's going to start making them
Yep. They
bulk
have,
order for them, right?
at the gun show this year, they apparently hooked up with ammo manufacturers going to be producing 1 million rounds per year for this gun.
Okay.
So right now the rounds they're making, they're a little pricey. A, it's a new bullet. B, they're the only ones making it. And it is not a normal 223. There is, you have special stuff, I guess, tooling to make it.
Yeah, for sure.
Who knows? But
I wonder if they're making their own brass for that, or if they're taking 5.56 brass and somehow stretching it out to.
So they're using a 350 Legend cartridge
Because it's straight wall, and then they're just necking it down.
Just necking it down.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also kind of a obscure caliber that you don't find a lot of.
Yeah, I don't have any in my gun safe.
Yeah.
I'm sure if this takes, companies. So I don't know whoever's watching if you guys know how the brass is made, brass cases, because brass cases are not molded to shape, right? You start with a cup. They're called brass cups, and they actually start with a puck, and then they're extruded. So they're actually pulled out. They're pulled out over a form to start that process, and so they're stretched into that shape as opposed to like molded or cut into that shape. And so I think if it gets popular enough, it wouldn't be very hard for a company to just start making that brass, from scratch.
Right.
What I love about this thing, it's like they're trying to bridge some gaps between what the AR 5.56 platform does, and as he said, on up to 308. This rifle shoots like a 5.56.
As far as felt recoil,
It shoots like a 5.56. I would say. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's the same.
what do you guys know what the muzzle velocity is on
It
like
depends
this?
on. So you can get the way we've got ours set up. It's 2,700 feet per second. If you go with a 55 grain, you're getting on up to like 3,400 feet per second.
And you get these up to 107 grain.
Yeah,
bullets.
105 is
There
one
is
that we've
long ways.
tried. I haven't
Of
looked
course,
at
you
any of
get
the others.
the longer the barrel, the more velocity you
Yeah.
get. Obviously, we went with the 16-inch barrel because that's what we dig. But we were averaging what were we shooting 90s?
90 grain,
Yeah.
and I think
We were averaging about
2,700
2,700 to 2,750.
90 grain.
And that's so if your normal AR round, we'll call it 62 grain. So I'm not talking about white rounds, ball.
Yeah.
But your normal military cartridge is going to be your 62 grain. You have your, 70, 77s, that kind of thing. And so your low end is you're going up to about 90 grains. So you're approximately at the same muzzle velocity. Yeah, you're getting more punch. The question is, I guess two questions I have, because I haven't shot it yet, is your trajectory, what changes there, because heavier bullet, same speed at the muzzle, seems like it would
Then we will fight in the shade.
seems like it would drop more, but you're saying it is actually a 1,000-meter gun or round.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And it is the barrels. I don't know, where'd you get the barrel from?
The barrels come from the same website we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
They're I think made by Liberty barrels.
And they're sub MOA. This gun is sub MOA, just like every other gun we sell.
It is. It is a super accurate barrel. We haven't tried the smaller rounds. The rounds as far as what they're making right now, it goes from 55, I believe, up to it's 103 or 105 or something like that.
Mhm.
But from what I've understood, the 90 grain seems to be the happy spot, especially if you're shooting like an 18-inch barrel. Those guys are reaching out to 1,200 up to a mile with an 18-inch barrel. So
Okay. Be interesting to see what the what the energy is at those distances.
Yeah.
Because that's what it comes down to, right? Like like we were saying before, it's great if you can hit something with a 308 at 1200, but if he goes,
yeah,
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 What was that?
right? Did you just spit on me? So yeah, cool. I mean, I'm dying to try it.
well, you're gonna get to here soon in
Amen.
April.
In April?
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
going
we're
to.
Oh, that's right. Well, May.
Is it May?
I think it's May. The long range class.
Yeah.
I'll look it up. I think it's in May. We're running a tactical
TR
rifleman
class,
long range precision class, and there's still room, so y'all can sign up. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully not by the time you see this, but
Right. So you're going to drive this gun. So we don't normally put this trigger on it. This is the AR Gold trigger. It's a fine trigger for if you're a competition shooter. It's Houston like these and Rawson, I think right here. And I'm not a fan of them myself. I prefer the ALG or Advanced Combat Trigger for what we use. This is our utility rifle. But for long range and staying on that 1,000-yard target or whatever with that scope, this trigger is really nice.
It is so nice.
for sure.
Oh yeah, it's really nice trigger. It worked out well for us. That's the
Yeah.
only reason this is on here, is because I could put a advanced combat trigger on this thing, but I don't know if I'd be regularly hitting 1,000 yards with that trigger.
Yeah.
It does have a bit of creep, but a lot more creep than this trigger.
Well,
has.
and it's way heavier,
Yeah,
right? So you're actually putting more muscle into it.
yeah. As much as you bag it in, it doesn't matter. You're still muscling that thing just a little bit. So,
But the other thing, sorry, go ahead.
no. Go ahead.
The other thing is that, I mean, we're not going to be running this optic when we do the 1,000 yards.
No, of course
obviously.
not.
And
We got a 25 power. Is that what we're putting on this?
it's going to be Vortex. Shout out to them because they are sending us a 4.5 to 27 power. What is that razor that they've got?
Doc is kicking ass as a marketing guy.
Yeah,
I'm telling
man.
you right now.
They're sending that to us to see how it works with our platform. And
Doc's one of those guys that goes to a bar and invites every girl home. One of them's going to say yes. One of them.
You see, Doc's not only pretty, he can do marketing.
Oh, he's all over it.
I hope Jess is
He
not
is
watching this.
flooding the internet with, and I've always said they can't say yes or no if you don't ask.
That's right. You got to ask.
They're not clairvoyant. They no. So,
Yeah.
Doc, if they come back with a response like, "Hey, we're too small" or something like that, Doc will come back with another email going, "Okay, well, sorry about your inadequacies, and hopefully we can do business later." And then they reply back, "Oh, we're sorry, we're inadequate."
This is
Doc
true.
doesn't care. True story.
True story.
Doc, I need a new Ferrari. Just putting that out there.
They sent a response back. We're really sorry we couldn't meet your needs, but
Yes.
you are first on our list. Pretty much next time we get this going, we got you. We're gonna take
Nice.
care of you.
Nice.
So yeah, he's really good at.
Oh man, but
And they make good stuff. I mean, the glass matters when you're talking out to that distance.
Vortex
Everything
makes great
matters.
stuff. Great stuff. And speaking of what we talked about earlier, people supporting veterans, Vortex is huge on supporting veterans, big time. And not all of them are, because let me tell you, when we were doing these things, I've reached out to a lot of other people to try to partner with us on this review and doing a demo, and they knew we were veterans. And I'm not going to bring their names up because I don't want to embarrass them, and they may have another chance at trying to do stuff with guys like us, but they
See,
pulled
now
a
I'm curious.
full stop. No, so
Yeah, I'm curious because he hasn't told me these things.
You're not privy, man.
I mean, you just don't get a response back, but Vortex was right on the money. And that says a lot
Doc
to
sends
me.
us. He shows me this laundry list of shit that he wants to test with Vortex and test with our gear and a whole 9 yards. And so he sends it and he only gets one reply. It's on its way.
Nice. Best reply you could get.
I mean,
That's what they
dude,
sent to him. It's on its way.
Awesome.
Vortex.
Awesome.
I've always known they support us. And by the way, I've had a scope that I didn't even buy it. It came on a rifle. I had bought the 308 that was used and somebody, when I bought the rifle, they shipped it and it got damaged in shipping. And I called Vortex and they said, just send it in. And I thought, okay, they're going to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And they called me back and said, would you prefer the same scope that you had or something else? We're going to send you a brand new one.
Nice.
No questions asked. They just said, what do you want?
Doc, I got a question for you.
Oh, boy.
So are you familiar with how many optics I've broken?
Oh,
All of them.
yeah.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
We were talking about one today.
We were talking about one today. Was it the SIG we were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to reach out to SIG?
Listen, I mean, that's what you would think that they would be very supportive on somebody like you that supports them as much as you do.
I have not reached out to them.
Yeah.
To be honest,
I can do it.
since we're in this closed, honest forum, I'm a SIG guy. I love SIG.
Yeah,
right?
I am too.
I hate their optics. Their optics are trash.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Same.
I don't mean this in a bad way,
Same.
but I've never had a SIG optic that has
Yeah.
survived.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing anything that rough with them.
Yeah.
The range guns that I shoot probably more than, your average shooter, but yeah, I've had pistol optics die. I've had rifle optics die. And, they say they're all made in America and all that. Cool. Awesome. I love their guns. I got a bunch of SIG guns and they are awesome. But those optics, man.
Yeah.
And also, Hollow Suns, man. Carl hasn't had a lot of problems. I've broken 4 Hollow Sun optics.
Did you get them replaced?
They replaced a couple, and then they were like, "I don't know what you're doing with them, bro." I'm just shooting. I'm not doing anything out of that.
Yeah.
I've seen you throw gear before.
You are such a liar. Hey,
So-
there's a difference between throwing gear and throwing myself with gear. I shouldn't have said that. Not that last thing, the thing before.
No.
But
I mean, it's a reality that I have learned that, when you're proud of your gear and your equipment, just like we have with the rifles, with Black Armor guns, you tie your heart and soul to that, just like they tied their heart and soul to these knives that they made. And you either believe in the product or you don't, you support the product or you don't, but it's all going to show eventually,
yeah.
We don't sell a lot, but the ones we sell are choice. They're great rifles. I'll say it. I don't give a fuck. And I think it's because I truly care. It's not no fucking catch line.
Yeah.
You have to call me to buy a gun. I will never sell a gun online. I'll market it terribly, by the way, but I will market it. But it even says on the website, you have to call me. There's no place where you say, hey, well, how do I order one? Nope, there's none of those. You have to call me. We'll talk about it. And I think a friend of mine did a video once, and he compared me to a dog
I was just
breeder,
going to say that. Yep.
right?
Yeah, dog breeder.
I care about where these guns go.
I'm not giving a puppy to just some ass off the internet.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
And,
yeah.
I have the contact information for everyone I've sold a gun to.
Yeah.
And as soon as that phone rings, if they want another gun or they have a friend, they'll call. I know exactly who they are.
Yep. And stay in touch with
Yes.
most of them.
So we'll start a
that's the
newsletter
difference.
soon too for Black Armor Guns.
Nice.
To all those people, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Nice.
Um,
Which, by the way, that was the whole thought process when we started Greybeard, right?
Mhm.
The Greybeard Syndicate is that exact mindset of, we're trying to create that kind of family of not because you bought something or own this kind of gear, that kind of gear, but it's like, kind of like-minded people who occupy our general space.
Yep.
And that's kind of the whole idea of Greybeard.
and hopefully convince others to like our space, and join us.
Absolutely.
We're all about people joining us. We don't care who you are. As long as you act like a human being, you can join our space. You got to act like a human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the way to say it is as long as you don't act like a human.
Maybe if you act like one of those 4 dogs back there, it'd be better. Because
Exactly.
with today's climate, I prefer being around my dogs.
I prefer them in any climate.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's just, it's just the way it is. So yes, the whole newsletter thing. I think. Did you bring that up?
Yeah.
I think you brought that up.
Yeah.
A couple of days
So
ago.
we're going to be producing newsletters. If you're interested in getting involved with that and getting newsletters from us, then drop a note in the comments for sure, and we'll add you to the list of our monthly, at least, newsletters.
Drop a note with your email address.
Yeah, with your email address, and also not to go back, but if you've had any kind of issues with different scope manufacturers or somebody not returning things, tell us about that too.
I'm gonna play that out for a little while.
This guy.
Bored with that one?
Yeah, I'm bored with that.
I'll play with this Sykes.
That was issued to me by A15, believe it or not.
What was it? It's
Issued.
numbered.
Was that Fairbanks? Is that what that says on there? Or
Well, no, that's the actual design. It's a Boker. It's a Boker, and it's got the Rex Applegate signature on it.
that's right. That's right.
And then this is actually a 440C, which is
I don't know what that means.
440C is a stainless. That's the steel this is. And it's one of the steels I like working very much and using as a knife. It's a good stainless. It's older.
It never made it to my kit. I used Benchmade and just open it up and Jimmy open drawers and shit like that with it.
Yeah, I mean, look, every knife design has a purpose. And if it doesn't, this is a nice knife, but it doesn't fit my use either. I get it. People love these, but I love the shape. I think it's beautiful, the Fairbairn Sykes, but yeah, I'm not a dagger guy.
All right, what else we got going on? How much have we been on there for? We've been on there for 47 minutes. Wow.
47
Of course,
minutes.
5 or 10 of that was us trying to get the sound right, I guess. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Is that what we're calling it?
That's what we're calling it. We are going to have venison stew tonight for supper. Right? Missy
ready.
made us.
It's about that time.
She put it up this morning. I bet it's tasting pretty good by now.
Brutal. It's going to be so fucking good.
It's going to be gone.
But tomorrow, Kyle Beeler will be here. He is staying with us. Beeler. Beeler. B-E-E-L-E-R. Beeler. I like to say Annalisa's husband. Right?
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Well, that's because Annalise is the outgoing, bubbly one, and Kyle's very reserved. He's one of the sweetest humans you'll ever meet. But he's very reserved, and so that's Annalisa's husband.
Yes. And she's pretty good at marketing too. You'll find her on the Country Fried Korean on Instagram.
Kentucky Fried Korean.
That's what I said. What do you think I said?
Sure. You said Country Fried Korean.
I said Kentucky Fried Korean.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
It's a good
The
thing.
good thing is we have tape.
This is recorded.
She is on the gram. She's very funny, very nice person.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Find her. And another one is we're going to pimp tactical rifleman too, Carl Erickson. On here, we got to pimp him, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean him?
Yep. Or
Us.
Well,
Thank you.
Well, I'm not part of y'all's crew. That's them. And
Byron
their
just
crew.
fired me off a TR.
So yes, I've gotten now to where Greybeard and Black Armor, we share everything that TR puts out. Or
do you really?
put out. All ships rise. So I've got Nick sending me everything, to collaborate everything out.
Good.
So many
He
faces.
doesn't even do that with my thing, and I'm part of the fucking team.
Look at you.
Fucking asshole.
I even got
I hate you
something from
guys.
Nick today.
You got something from Nick today? What you got? I got something from Byron today. He put a finger in my butt. It's like, oh, hey there, big
Doc, being a fake doctor, is
That's
what it's
right.
called, a
A
chiropractor.
fake doctor.
He's a chiropractor, and
Yeah.
he actually has a table in our
Yes.
upstairs apartment.
Oh, we're going to get the whole story.
Yes. So
here.
There we go. I had to bring
he's sitting there working. He worked on Missy and then me. And this thing about me and Emery is chiropractors. First of all, I don't like anybody touching me, in that way. And I start getting the awkward laughs and giggles, kind of like him. We both do that. So he finally he got me to settle down. He cracked my back. But Emery you were downstairs showering or something.
I was talking to your customers is what I was doing.
He came upstairs. And he laid down, and Doc said, "Hey, get face down on the table there." And I got up immediately from the computer. And I started rubbing on his back a little bit because I'd watched Doc do some things. So all I literally did was this right here, and then his butt was there, and I'm like,
Oh!
This is normal. This is normal.
That's it. Like,
Checking the lower part of your spine.
This is a new technique.
Just relax. It'll only hurt for a little bit.
Just checking the base of your spine here.
It shouldn't feel that way.
Is this where the coccyx is?
This is the coccyx. We specialize. I'm a professional.
Stupid.
Good. All right.
Missy's saying, what time are y'all coming?
I was
to
just
eat?
going to say, let's go eat some
We're
soup.
going to wrap this up. This is a
soup.
bullshit session. And we will be back probably. I got to get somebody else on here to interview. I did Sularoo. I still have to 4 hours with Sularoo. So I got to break that video up into like,
You know what? I
30 different videos.
don't feel bad for you because I just spent like 40 days with him in a truck.
driving across the country and
Again.
back. Yes. But dude, easily the best interview I've done.
Wow. Yeah, I got to watch it.
Sularoo. Oh, it's amazing. Were you here or was that Dylan?
No,
It was
no.
Dylan. Oh, it's a great video.
Man, for all the jackassery he does, and Sue works hard at like making himself look like an idiot behaviorally. But man,
He's just playing.
That moron is one of the smarter people I know.
Yes.
And he has a wealth of knowledge, and he has a incredible magazine of terrific Sularoo stories.
Yes. Tons of them. Like the one where I was at Camp McCall and I walked at the intersection and there was a female officer and a lieutenant colonel having a Sularoo story. They're like, do y'all know
Just random people.
Random people, they're talking about Sularoo as I was walking by. I go, you guys know Sularoo? And I don't think they did. They were just telling the story.
That's hilarious.
That's hilarious. You know what? I got a quick one. Can we end it on
Of course.
quick?
Sure.
And Sue was actually there for this. So a few years back, I was just getting into skydiving. Sue's fault, by the way. And actually really was Carl's fault, but never mind. So I still hadn't done my full 25 jumps to get certified. This, I don't know, 4 years ago, whatever. Well, they had just had puppies. And so we drove out to drop off a few puppies outside of Fort Bragg. And so we were at Charlie Mike's there, right? The bar. And so we're as we're pulling in, I'm like, oh shit, good friend of mine from like way back in the day. I think he's in third group right now. Let me call him, see if he'll meet us for a beer, right? So I call him on the way and I'm like, yo, guy, I don't want to say his name because he's still in. I was like, hey, dude, we haven't talked in forever, blah, blah, blah. I hear you're in third group. Are you at Bragg right now? He goes, oh, yeah. I was like, cool. Well, we're pulling up. We're going to Charlie Mike's. We'll be there in 2 hours or whatever. Come hang out. It's going to be me and my buddy Sue and his wife and blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, I'll put the kids to sleep and show up. So we're at Charlie Mike's, and I'm already like 6 shots of whiskey deep and a couple of beers, just working on it, right? Well, this guy, my buddy, walks in, and so I get up, I walk over to the door, give him a hug. Oh, dude, I haven't seen you in a decade, blah, blah, blah. And he's looking around my shoulder. He's a short guy. He's looking around my shoulder. He goes, it's fucking Sularoo. And I was like, yeah. He's like, no, over there, that guy. His name is Sularoo. I go, yeah, dipshit, I told you I'm coming here with my buddy Sue. We're going to go do some skydiving after we drop off these puppies. And he's like, you're friends with Sularoo? I was like, yeah, dude. I just fucking told you 3 times. And he's like, listen, man, I was in the not Gold Knights. He's like he was with the Black Daggers for some period. He was jumping with the Black Daggers, and he's like, and Sue came to jump with us. Best guy. This guy is a legend. He is an SF fucking legend. And then he turns to me and goes, "Listen, just make sure you don't learn anything about skydiving from him."
That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
That story is believable by everyone.
Right.
Yes. Just don't take any skydiving advice from me.
You know what? I've gotten some of the best skydiving advice I've ever gotten from him. I
That's
have.
hilarious.
The best piece, I'll just share this with you guys because it's cute. But Sue taught me right at the beginning, you know, because I was scared. You're jumping out at 14,000 feet. Somebody with I'm terrified of heights. That's why I got into it. I love it. And Sue goes, "Listen, hey, listen." He goes, "Hey, the day you get on that plane and you start going up and you're not scared, that's your last skydive you're ever going to do. Don't ever skydive when you're not afraid of that jump." Tell me that's not the best skydiving advice you can give.
Very much so.
It actually sounded like him too.
I've been practicing.
Dang.
I listen to that motherfucker way too much.
Goddamn Mario V. Hill.
Fucking V Hill.
All right, we're going to go eat some chow, guys. Thanks for joining us, and we will get you a couple more of these videos. Peace.
Peace.